Oh, hey, Bill.
The SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series as we get set to go racing in round number 9. John Weston alongside me, Ben Kilcrease, Mitch Rollo getting a picture that you see to you. Here we go, John. 150 laps at Stafford Motor Speedway tonight, and we've got a hefty championship battle heading into the final rounds of this championship. Christian Chandler leads the field heading into tonight. Ryan Matthews 3 points back. Devin Morgan heads into tonight 13 back. Joe Schaefer Jr. 16 back. And Dallas Pataska 17 back. That rounds out the top 5. You know, we're going to be keeping an eye on the championship battle, but also the cars on the track. The battle for the win tonight as well is going to be exciting as well, and it's going to be a great show tonight. And I'm excited to be back here with the super late models on Thursday nights, and glad to have you along in the booth with me.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm glad to be here, but I saw a name up on the board there, Ben. You know what that name was?
What's that name?
That name is Ty Majeski.
Speaking of that name, Ty Majeski, he's known for grabbing a couple poles, the Snowball Derby.
Hither and yon, yeah.
On the real side of things, sort of jumps out. He grabbed the pole tonight, quick time, actually broke the track record, the same track record that's been standing for almost 4 years. He didn't shatter it, but he was a couple thousandths quicker than it, so he puts down a new track record. 8-car invert tonight, though. We'll have him starting from the 8th position, John. He's going to have a little bit of work to do, but he's got a long time to do it, 150 laps tonight.
You know, if I'm one of these super late model drivers in the SARA series here, and I saw this guy Ty Majeski join the server, you know what I'd do? You know what I'd do, Ben? You know what I'd do, Ben? I would just.
What's that?
I'd hang my head and cry.
I'm sure you would. We were singing some. We were karaokeing before the air. And
but seriously, I mean, Majeski, man, this guy is like a legend to a lot of us iRacers out here. And yeah, I was just gonna say, our producer just said in my ear, 10,692 iRating, Ben. I mean, I didn't even know you could go that high.
Neither did I, but obviously you can. And he's one of, if not the highest rated iRating drivers on the service. We'll talk about him and a lot of other great drivers in the field tonight as we're set to go racing here at Stafford Motor Speedway. It's been a fun season so far. A lot of spectacular racing. Had a Christian Chandler picking up a couple of victories. Devin Morgan got a victory. Ryan Matthews, Colin Allman, Jacob Harberts, and Joe Schaefer Jr. all have visited victory lane so far this season. One of these drivers either wants to repeat, or maybe a couple of them in the field want to add their name to that winner list as we are set to go racing in the Salty Hooks 150 here at Stafford Motor Speedway. And here's how we'll line them up. David Krikorian will start inside of row number 1. He'll lead us to the green flag alongside the number 40 of Jimmy Mullis.
Inside row 2, Ty Spearman in the 92 car. To his outside, the 67 of Colin Allman.
Inside of row number 3 has the number 19 of David Ryandu, and to his outside will be the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr.
Inside row 4, Dallas Pataska in that 23 car. He qualified second fastest. To his outside, Ty Majeski in that number 91. He set fast time in qualifying.
Jacob Harbert's going to roll off 9th in the 80, and Devin Morgan in the 112 rounds out the top 10, and rest of the field going to scroll across the bottom of your screen, John, as we're sent to go racing here at Stafford Motor Speedway, a big rhythm track here in Massachusetts. So we're going to see hopefully a lot of green flag racing, and it's going to really come down to who's going to be able to get into a better rhythm, who's going to save those tires the most. Remember, no tires tonight and open setups in this division. So that being said, got to take it easy early on if you want tires for the end.
So you're saying that they've got the rhythm and I've got the blues. Is that what you're saying there, Ben?
Boy, we're just having too much fun with the Johnny Cash tonight. And, you know, our producer He dares us to throw in Johnny Cash on the broadcast, and then when we do, he throws shade at us behind the scenes.
Y'all have to
Nonetheless,
forgive Ben. He's not much of an Alan Jackson fan, but anyway.
nonetheless, here we go. Set to go racing in the Salty Hooks 150. Krikorian and Mullis, the front row for 150 laps at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Round number 9 in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series is underway.
And off we go. Great start there by Krikorian, out to a nice little lead, 2 car lengths ahead of the 40 car, and they stack them up 2 by 2 by 2, coming off of 2.
The battle will be for second, and a close call there as Spearman had to really grab a handful of the steering wheel off of corner number 2. He'll battle side by side with Colin Ullman. They get real close down in 3 and 4. This is a tight, narrow racetrack, John. We're going to see a lot of door-to-door action, maybe some door-to-door contact throughout the course of this race. Like I mentioned, not a lot of racing room here, so you really have to get down into the groove, and you almost have to share one groove down in the turns and even on the straightaways.
And even though you're saying 2 by 2, that 6 car right there, and currently in 5th place, that's Joe Schaefer Jr. He thought very briefly about taking it 3 wide and thought better of it.
Thinks better of it, but look at him down there, John. He's using the apron already early in this race, trying to help that 6 machine turn. Maybe he's got the car set up to run that low. It's really fun to watch as he'll battle side by side with Colin Ullman. Ullman trying to fend off that move, at least for the time being. That would be for the 4th position. Ty Spearman in the 92, able to get by, and those guys continuing to race it out for that 4th spot. Looks like Ullman may have got a piece of the backstretch wall. Some great racing early on as we're only on lap 4 of 150.
In the meantime, up front, Krikorian's got a mirror full of Jimmy Mullis in that number 40 car. Mullis was right up on his back bumper for a second there. Ben backs off just a little bit, but I think he's going to make another run for you here in 3 and 4.
Good battle up front. Good battles throughout the whole field. Krikorian trying to hold off Mullis early on. The battle for 4th still ongoing. Schaefer on the inside, Ullman on the outside, and you know, if I'm Colin Ullman in the 67, I'm wondering either I've got to get past this 6 machine and get down to the bottom, or I'm going to try and sort of find myself in a hole in line here so I can get down and not be as aggressive on the tires this early on. He has been side by side up in the outside line for the whole race so far. All 7 laps, Colin Ullman working the top side.
That's right. That top side, Ben, you said it eats those tires up, especially when you're trying to hold a position, as it seems Ullman in that 67 is doing. He's got to be worried about doing 150 laps on tires that have been eating that outside groove already. Oh, a little contact there from the 19.
Some contact, and looks like Schaefer finally able to clear. And how about Majeski trying to sneak down on the inside? Down by the grass is the 91 as he's trying to make some ground up early on. He started 8th, still sits 8th after the invert, and he's got a pair of side-by-side cars right in front of him. That's Pataska on the inside, Ryan Doe to the outside there in the 19. Majeski sort of held up right here, John. Perfect time for Majeski in the 91 to sort of save his stuff here as that 19 gets oh so close to the wall, and the 23 of Pataska not giving him a lot of room to really come off the corner well, and that's where you see the almost contact again off turn 4.
Such a narrow track, like you touched on earlier, Ben, and really flat in the turns. This is probably one of the most difficult tracks you can drive in a super late model. I've tried it. I failed miserably. Probably will never do it again.
It's challenging for sure. Speaking of challenge, we had a challenge for the lead briefly. Jimmy Mullis was able to get by David Krikorian while we were watching some of the battles inside the top 5 there. So Mullis trying to get a nice momentum rhythm going here as he works to the back straightaway, working lap 12 of 150. Mullis leads Krikorian, Ty Spearman, Joe Schaefer Jr., and Colin Ullman. That's the top 5. And then you go back behind them, Ryan Doe and then Pataska and Majeski. That's the top 8. Harberts and Devin Morgan round out the top 10. So not a lot has changed inside the top 10 since the drop of the green flag. A couple of positions have swapped, but nonetheless, everybody that started in the top 10 still there for the most part. And here comes Majeski trying to work his way to the inside of Pataska. That would be for the 7th position, but Pataska just too good off the corners this early on, John. He's able to hold off the 91, at least for the time being. I
think Majeski knows what he's doing, though. He's gonna be as aggressive as he can be without burning those tires up, Ben. And speaking of tires and time, I've been paying attention to the lap times these guys started putting down. An example, our leader, Jimmy Mullis, His initial at-speed lap, that would be lap 2, was basically an 18.2. Last time by was an 18.765. So in 14 laps, they've already lost a half a second of time. So it'd be interesting to see how much these tires are going to give up over the course of 150 laps.
Certainly, and I'm sure we'll start to see these cars slip and slide a little more off corner exit as one car got the wall. Looked to be Jacob Harberts in the 80 machine, I do believe, tagged the ball off corner number 4, slowed his momentum down, and almost had a challenge from Morgan there for the time being. They continue to race single file. Just in front of them, Ty Spearman loses a couple of positions to the 6 of Schaefer and the 67 of Allman. So the 92 move him back to 5th, move Schaefer up to 3rd, Allman up to 4th, as those guys try and run down the top 2 who are really starting to open up a big lead. Mullis out front, a 0.6 of a second lead, almost a 0.7 of a second lead over the 66 of Krikorian. And then you got to go almost 2.5 seconds back to 3rd with Joe Schaefer Jr.
I'm really impressed with Mullis' use of the apron there. I mean, that's usually no man's land down there that low, but I think you touched on earlier there, Ben, these guys run open setups, so you can set your car up however you want to, and he looks like he's got it set up to run half on that, oh my goodness, I lost the word right there.
Apron.
Oh, caution. Apron, thank you.
The first 1-3 Designs caution of the night going to be for Tim Bills in the 37. The driver was running 13th. After some, looks like a little bit of contact heading down into turn number 1 and 2. He loops it around, backs it into the Armco barrier. No harm really to that machine. A little bit of rear end damage, but doesn't look like there's going to be any suspension damage. As you see, he just gets a bump from the 60 machine of Keith Medeiros heading down into turn 1 there. Maybe a misjudgment on the braking zone there, John, and turns the 37 around for the first 1-3 Designs caution period of the night.
Yeah, excuse me, that's unfortunate to see a little bit of contact like that. But it's like you said, sometimes you misjudge your braking point or maybe where that car in front of you is going to be braking at. But you know what I just noticed on these cars before I went to caution is even in daylight, I'm seeing some rotor glow. That's pretty intense braking right there.
Yeah, this is a very heavy braking track. We talked about the flat corners, but some long straightaways here. It's a half-mile speedway here at Stafford Motor Speedway, so these guys, they build up quite a bit of speed on the straightaways, John, and you mentioned that they have to get it woed way down in the corners on that very, very slight banking here at Stafford to get it to turn. So a lot of brake glow already, and I'm sure we'll see that intensify over the course of this race. Nonetheless, caution, though, for the first time tonight. Wave around, going to go to, looks to be the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson. Speaking of Brandon Wilkinson, champion of the Sim Racing Network Snowball Showdown, the second annual Snowball Showdown logo reveal coming this Saturday. Tune in to our Facebook page around 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. We'll also release some other exciting information as well.
We are the information station. I'm on a roll, man. Watch me go.
On a roll. And we're going to keep on rolling, hopefully. Get the lights off. No. Our producer's just having too much fun with us tonight.
And he's not happy with me, though, is he? I love you too, Mitch. You know what I'm looking at, though, Ben, is I was just looking at a bunch of cars. It looks like everybody's kind of got a taste of the wall just about. Not everybody, but a lot of these cars have. A little bit of right side damage on most of them, but, you know, again, it's super late models. Aerodynamics really don't matter all that much. But what they got to worry about being open setups and whatnot is knocking the tailwind or something like that off in these cars if they hit it hard enough to cause that kind of damage. It really throws the setups off.
Absolutely. So we'll keep an eye on that. That turn 4 wall really comes at you quick. So, you know, I won't be surprised if we see a couple more. A little bit of contact down in turn 4 with that wall on the front stretch. We double the field up. Side by side, first 1-3 Designs caution period set to come to a close as Jimmy Mullis going to lead us back to the green flag alongside David Krikorian. Want to thank everybody for tuning in live right here on the Sim Racing Network. Get social with us. Find us on Twitter at the SRN_. Find us on Facebook. Give us a like. Just search the Sim Racing Network. Here we go. Flagman throws the laundry back out in the air, and stack up kind of restart there as they race down into turn number 1, John. That's going to jumble up the field from about 5th on back, and here comes Joe Schaefer Jr. racing for the runner-up spot down into 3.
He is pressing that inside line hard. He's kind of like Mullis down there on the apron, just making it work for him. Somebody got in the wall. A couple of cars got in the wall there. Too many to count, really. But again, it just jumbles that whole field up from second on back. And Mullis is loving this. He's looking in his mirror and seeing everybody falling back by a good 4 or 5 car lengths now, so he can kind of just settle in and make his line work. And the 23 car gets a little bit out of shape there.
That was Pataska on the inside of Majeski. Majeski almost collected there as he got a piece of the wall last time by on the front straightaway, so he's trying to get back into a rhythm. It's really hard, John, after a caution period to get back into that rhythm, find that rhythm back under the green flag conditions, and you're seeing that right now as a couple more drivers tag the outside wall in turn 4. Everybody just trying to find that spot where they were just a handful of laps to go before the race was slowed down.
And yes, they are. In the meantime, back up front, we're still single filed all the way back to about 8th, it looks like. But, man, that's a heck of a 2x2 battle right there. And, again, that wall is making itself known. I've seen a couple of guys bounce off of it twice now back here further in the pack. And that 23 car, who is that again? Right inside Majeski there. That's Dallas Pataska. He's just giving Majeski fits right now.
Certainly is. And, wow, close racing. And Majeski's going to get the wall on the front straightaway. Big hit for the 91, and now he's sideways. Around goes Majeski. Caution flies. Not sure if he was the cause of that caution. I don't see anything behind him. Got to be for the 91 there, but man, what a turn of events down in turn 4 that escalated all the way down to turn 1.
Yeah, once he got out of shape there and lost that momentum, it looked like the 112 of Devin Morgan tried to take advantage of it. And I'm not saying Majeski went down the block or whatever, but he went into turn 1 awfully hard, and they got together, and, well, you saw the result from there. I'm really impressed that Majeski was able to straighten that car out and not loop it all the way around, though, and nobody else got up in the wall.
Certainly. So, wow, big turn of events there, but Majeski, a lot of damage after that hit with the wall on the right side, and even got some left side damage now as well. We'll see how it affects the number 91 machine. Perfect time for us to take first commercial break of the night as we're serving the second 1-3 Designs caution period here at Stafford. We'll be back on the Sim Racing Network.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Stafford Motor Speedway, the Salty Hooks 150 and the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series live right here on the Sim Racing Network. Getting set for the second restart of the night. Jimmy Mullis, Joe Stafford Jr. front row, green flag back in the air. Good restart for that inside line, and Colin Allman as he races down into turn number 1, trying to take the runner-up spot. Ran the 6 of Schaefer up the racetrack to do it. Slams the door on him, headed down into 3, and he'll take the second position.
Making friends. That's what we're doing out here today, man. I'm telling you what, man. You slam a door like that on me, I'm going to come back and honk at you with my chrome bumper.
There you go. We'll see if any honking takes place in the remainder of this race as Colin Allman finds himself up to second. Started 4th in this race, up to the runner-up spot. Joe Schaefer Jr. from 6th up to 3rd. And David Krikorian, he started on the pole after the invert. He fell back to 4th after leading a couple of laps early on in this race.
Oh, big
crash down into turn number 3, half the field.
It's the big one. I mean, we're not even at Talladega. We're talking about a big one, but you named it, Ben. Half the field is involved in this one.
Not even sure who to begin with there. It looks to be Ty Spearman gets in it with Ty Majeski. Majeski hard into the outside wall. Martin got a piece of it. Morgan got a piece of it. My, oh my.
Man, tons of damaged vehicles out here, and I think Majeski was just a victim of circumstance right there. It looked like Spearman, was it, in the 92?
Yep. Championship leader Christian Challoner almost cleared it, then got caught in the right rear and turned up the racetrack. My, oh my.
Oh, I take that back, folks. It wasn't Spearman. It was Devon Morgan got into the left rear. Sorry, Devon Morgan got into the left rear and really kind of caused that whole chain reaction right there. And like we said, unfortunately, it looks like Majeski's probably going to be out after that, Ben. He went straight to the
absolutely
the pits.
Hard hit in the outside wall. That was a 3-wide situation gone wrong. Looked like Morgan, not really throwing the blame at Morgan here, but kind of stuck it in there off of turn 2, and just not enough room for hardly 2 wide on corner exit here, much less 3 wide, and all of them come together. And Majeski, boy, he was just an innocent bystander. He was ahead of the mix, but gets turned nonetheless across the track. And man, some big hits in there to 32 of Trevor Edwards in it. We mentioned Spearman, Challoner. A lot of good cars tore up in this one just prior to the lap 40 mark, the third 1-3 Designs caution period of the night.
Well, you know, it is a short track, Ben. Like they say, short track racing, you know, there's not a whole lot of room and not a whole lot of giving out there. A whole lot of, you know, a taking, I guess you should say. This should have been in 3 wide. They're not at Stafford Motor Speedway, but it is what it is.
Certainly is. We'll restart them, though, here on lap 41. Closing in on the 1/3 mark of this race. 3 cautions already. Had a good green flag run to open the show, and sort of caution breeds caution since then. We'll see if we can get back into a green flag rhythm. Mullis back in the gas. We're back underway here in the Salty Hooks 150.
Nice clean start that time. Not a whole lot of action there. The 67 maintained spot in the 6th place there. Joe Schaefer Jr. back there in that 6th place, though. Had his hands with the 66 for a minute there of David Krikorian, but Krikorian falls back into 4th. In the meantime, behind them, 2 by 2, pretty much from 5th on back.
5th on back, they race side by side. Up front, Colin Allman trying to close in on your leader, Jimmy Mullis. Kind of focusing on Pataska there in the 19 of Ryan Doe as they race down into turn number 3 and 4. That'd be for the 4th position. I'm sorry, the 5th position. So racing for a spot inside the top 5. As you see, Devin Morgan in the 112 kind of slot down in front of Jacob Harberts in the 80. They get single file, and now that battle for 5th is about the only side-by-side bout on the racetrack.
I'm not real familiar with Stafford Motor Speedway. Again, like I said earlier, Ben, I never ran it that much, but do they ever develop an outside groove, or are we talking about a one-groove track? But oh, wow, 23 went way high that time.
Well, as we've seen earlier in the race, John, as Pataska really getting aggressive with Morgan there on the back stretch. The outside line, you can kind of fend off somebody on the outside line, and it definitely comes in as the run goes on. So once these tires start wearing a little bit, you know, you can fend somebody off on the outside. I don't think we'll see somebody pull up to the outside and make a pass, but you can definitely kind of hold your ground and fend off your position if somebody makes a challenge on the low side.
Okay, I just wondering, like I said, I've never really run a whole lot of laps here at Stafford myself, and haven't really watched a lot of racing at Stafford, but I've noticed that, like you said, some of these guys are able to fend people off on the outside, not really do a pass, but at least, you know, maintain their position. And I just keep seeing sparks flying down the front stretch when guys get in the wall.
Yeah, Krikorian got it that time, overcorrected a little bit off turn 4 and got the front stretch wall. We'll see that over the course of the night. We work lap 48 of 150 here at Stafford. Jimmy Mullis continuing to lead as they race down into turn number 1 and 2. He's followed by Allman. Joe Schaefer Jr. sits third. Kokorian is fourth, and Ryan Doe sits fifth. Morgan sixth. Pataska seventh. Eighth is Jacob Harbert's Ryan Matthews ninth, and Zach Novak. Good run for the 15 up inside the top 10.
Tell you what, it's getting kind of they look like they're relaxing. I wouldn't say relaxed. That's a bad word to use, but they've calmed down a little bit, I guess would be a good way to explain it. They've gone single file for most of the top 10. Not a whole lot of aggressive maneuvering going on there, Ben. So looks like these guys. Oh, and just as I say that, it looked like the 23 car hard in the outside wall, but he maintained, forward motion there and saved it. But wow, that was a scary moment coming off of 4 for a second there.
Certainly was. Good save by the 23 machine. And boy, look at that right side of Allman's machine, John, as he has used up the right side of that 67 Camaro.
That's just excess paint, Ben. that's all that is. He's getting rid of some of that extra weight.
I hear you. He's got the wall a couple times off turn 4, it seems. Got to
right
get in there.
there.
If they continue to pound away at that concrete, 16th of an inch by 16th of an inch, we may move it about a quarter of an inch by the end of this thing.
Well, what he's doing, see, I've had a crew chief tell me this. If you tap it enough, like that right there, like you just did again, that car will start to turn a little bit better for you. I'm telling you, just keep doing what you're doing. That's what my crew chief used to tell me. And then come to find out, all I was doing was dislodging that rear end. And next thing you know, my rear end's floating all over the place.
That's about 5 laps in a row, and for the first time in a handful of laps, Allman keeps it off the front stretch wall.
Maybe he's got to turn the way he wants to now.
Oh, man.
Those on-track engineering adjustments.
Yeah, Allman sits second, right behind Mullis. Mullis, though, starting to open up a gap. Ooh. Mullis looking real good in that 40 machine. Hardly a scratch on that car. If there is one, I can't really see it from my vantage point. Very clean looking ride so far as he's out in front of this field.
I'm not going to say for sure, but I think Pataska finally got fed up with that 66 car and moved him a little bit there. But it looks like a clean enough pass, I guess. We'll leave it at that.
So a short track move, we'll call it.
It's just jumping up there in my spot in line. Thank you very much.
So down in 3 and 4, Pataska makes the move on the 66, and like you said, pretty clean pass there. I'd say that's about as clean as it's going to get on a short and flat track like this.
That's right, man. I mean, no harm, no foul. Nobody got spun out there, and we're all still going the right way. In the meantime, it looks like Mullis is just out on cruise control there, Ben. He's just chipping away at the laps here. Lap 59, out of 150. So we're approaching that halfway point, and they're still running some pretty decent lap times out there. That last time by, Colin Allman ran the fastest one, 18.773 to Mullis's 18.830, almost a whole tenth there.
Yeah, so we continue to log some laps, and
there's
caution. The fourth 1-3 Designs caution period of the night. Brandon Wilkinson turned around backwards off turn 4, and looks like he had a little bit of help down in the middle of 3 and 4 to put us under this caution period. So Wilkinson off the bumper of the 92, loops it around on the front stretch, or off turn 4 rather, collects the front stretch wall a little bit, then gets another little tap.
Yep.
88, and then they almost come together again.
Did you see where the 92 wound up and all that?
Yeah, the 92 of Spearman. I don't think he was too happy with his run. Maybe
that was crazy.
Mechanical failure or something there. Nonetheless, the car turned dead left and into the inside wall. I can rest assured that he was not happy with his run tonight and just wanted to end it.
Park it
prematurely. Yeah.
That's pretty much what it looked like. So, the I9 Designs, I3 Designs,
1-3
Designs. I'm so sorry. Well, it's Ben's fault. If he had just stayed gone, I wouldn't be messing this up.
Had I stayed gone, I
And
didn't.
if you had-
I was missing the super late models. Though.
we missed
I
you.
really
We did
enjoyed
miss
SARA.
you, man. But ask Mitch. I finally had a whole race where I got that right for every caution.
Wow.
And shut up.
Our producer says there was one caution. Hey, 100% is better than 99.
That's right. So back to this awesome racing we've got here at Stafford Motor Speedway in the wonderful town of, what is this place? Stafford Springs,
Mills.
Massachusetts. Stafford Springs.
Is it Stafford Springs? Okay.
Yeah, up in the far, far north there, Massachusetts.
I'm
And
not
I've
really
never-
familiar with the
Burr.
geography of
It's
the
Burr.
Northeast.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
Burr.
little chilly. On the sim side of things, it's also
A beautiful
a
night.
chilly. It's a little chilly night for us southern folks. 67 degrees, track temperature 74, wind southeast at 7 miles an hour. So that's a little breezy night, a little cool night for us. Like I said, us southern folk. You out of Louisiana, me out of South Alabama. So
Yeah.
that's some sweater weather. Mitch up in Canada, that's just a summer day for our producer.
Right. Absolutely. Our Canadian producer, Mitch, man, he talked about riding snowmobiles, and I'm like, what's that? I don't even know what you're talking about. It's like a jet ski, right?
The only interaction with a snowmobile I've ever had, really not even a snowmobile, just a snowmobile motor. We have a division of cars. They're about 1/3 the size of a NASCAR Monster Energy car. They call them cup lights, and they run snowmobile motors. And we have a division down here
Wow.
with about 20 cars locally that run those cars. Man, they're so
That
fun to
sounds
watch.
like fun.
So fun to watch. Nonetheless, though, back to green flag racing here in about 2 turns at Stafford Motor Speedway with Jimmy Mullis leading us back to the green flag alongside Colin Allman. 10 laps away from the halfway point in the Salty Hooks 150. Side by side, 2x2, green flag back in the air.
Pretty smooth start that time. Again, Mullis jumps out to a nice little lead, but he ain't getting too far ahead there of the 67 car of Allman. In the meantime, those two are single file, but behind them, it's a madhouse, Ben. We got 2x2. I saw a 3 wide for 5th place a minute ago. These guys are kind of getting itchy to get back at it.
Good battle for 3rd right there. I'm watching at the front of the field. Ryan Doe in the 19. He's sitting a little bit too deep down in 1 and 2. Washed up the racetrack as Schaefer tries to clear him on the bottom side. Pataska in that mix as well on the 23. All these guys going at it for the 3rd spot on the racetrack.
Oh.
And how about the 19? All sorts of sideways off turn 4. Didn't lose any ground at all in that battle, though. He kept his foot in it, and they're still side by side.
I've seen that a few times the last few restarts. Several cars just really loose on the start, but they don't get out of the gas. It's either go or blow. We got one
Look
out
out.
of shape
That's
back
the
there.
51.
Oh my goodness, way down in the grass there.
Ryan
Nice and green.
Matthews. Matthews finally going to come to a rest down in turn number 1 and 2. We get the replay up, and that's an important moment in this race because Matthew heads into the 9th, 2nd in the championship standings, 3 points behind championship leader Christian Challoner, who has had his fair share of problems, but Challoner is running 17th right now. That puts Matthews back in the 26th position.
Man, that was a close call for a few guys on the field right there, but Matthews did a really great job, actually, of just keeping it down in the grass and not getting back up on the track. But that's really going to hurt him in the points tonight because we're just about to the halfway point here, Ben, and he's got a lot of ground to make up if he has any hopes of salvaging a decent point tonight.
Absolutely. 4 to go to the halfway. Allman slowly but surely cutting away at Mullis' lead on the front stretch that time by just 0.3 of a second. Their battle for 3rd is still ongoing. Finally, Schaefer going to pull the slider off turn 2, gets by the 19 machine, and
Slide
that
job.
allows Pataska to get to the inside, which will now heat up the battle for 4th. And boy, tight quarter racing off turn 4. Great racing.
You'd think this was the last lap the way these guys were running at each other right here. You got that 19 car of Davey Rindu, the 23 of Pataska. We've been talking about him all night. Devin Morgan right there in the 112, and just behind them, the 66 car of Krikorian. He hadn't gone too far, Ben. He's just kind of been lurking back here, just waiting for something to happen.
Oh, and big contact on the front stretch wall for looks to be the 21 of Tarasenko. They're running 11th. He pounded the outside wall. So
scratch up my paint job.
he scratched it up pretty good that time. We'll keep an eye on him over the course of this run. Good run for Brian Helm, who sits 12th right now. Ryan Doucette back in 13th. Ben Nile sits 14th in the 14 car. And Bill Martin up to 15th. And then there you have the championship leader heading into tonight, Christian Challoner in the 31. He sits 16th now after coming with some close calls there in the big one on the backstretch. To be honest, John, that car doesn't look very used up, but we know it was involved in an incident. He gets by Martin for the 15th spot as we're just now past the halfway point.
I'm gonna give Challoner the award for creepiest car paint job out there. Them yellow eyes on that hood just look too creepy. I think what is that? A dragon? I can't tell.
I'm not sure. Certainly interesting though to be honest.
But look at that 39 on the outside of him. That car is beat all to hell, and he's putting up a heck of a fight on the outside for that spot.
He is. Martin with a big front end damage there. I was watching the 60 behind them. Madero's really sideways off turn 4. Great save, though. He's had his fair share of run-ins tonight as well on that 60 machine. I'd say anywhere outside the top 10, they've got a handful of scratches on the car. There's a few cars in this mix that are pretty clean for the most part, but nonetheless, quite a few of these guys have made contact with either that turn 4 wall or been involved in something here tonight. Off turn,
most likely both.
Yeah, off turn 4 and now down into 1 and 2. Mullis continues to lead Allman here at Stafford Motor Speedway. We are working lap 80 of 150. Tonight's race being brought to you by Salty Hooks. It's a Salty Hooks 150, our very own Ty Spearman's YouTube channel dedicated to his fishing excursions, along with a few surprises along the way. Check it out on YouTube or Facebook by searching for Salty Hooks. The series is brought to you by Dreamer Racing Series, a new league and series that seeks to provide a clean, fair racing environment, all while giving its drivers the opportunity to accomplish their dreams of making money, racing a reality without the crazy overhead of owning a real race car. This series features a season-end bonus. However, prizes are paid weekly, with the season champ taking home bonus cash. Visit DreamerRacingSeries.com for more info.
You sound like a professional. You done this before?
A couple times. probably close to a couple thousand times.
I was gonna say. I'll tell you what, Mullis looks like he's stretching that lead out now. This is the point in the race that we really like to see. Been a nice long green flag run, and this is the part. This is the point of the race where you can see the guys who really set their car up for a nice long run, versus the guys who probably didn't. And Mullis is just kind of stretching that lead out. He's got a little over a half a second now, which is I think the most we've seen out of him tonight.
Yep, Mullis continuing to open up that lead. I'm watching, though, this battle from third on back. We have got a group of cars here, all tail to nose, John. Schaefer, Rendo, and from there on back, Morgan's in the mix, Pataska, and the 15 of Novak, who's worked his way up to 7th. All in this, that's a 5-car battle for the 3rd spot.
Well, this is kind of like an iRacing hometown race for Rendo. He's up there from the Northeast. More Sparks. I love Sparks. But, sorry. Squirrel! Look at that. 3 wide now, again, with the 112, 23, and I believe that was the 15 car, excuse me. Doing that 3 wide thing. I mean, they're not, 3 wide side by side, but they got 3 very distinct lines going through those turns. It's really impressive.
It certainly is, and for the most part, they're keeping it clean up here in this group.
Wow, look at the 15 sending down in there.
15 of Novak, he is all the way down by the grass. We've seen some guys use the apron tonight, but none like Novak is doing right now. He was all the way almost against the yellow line in 1 and 2, and he was pretty low down in 3 and 4. Look at him all the way down there,
wow.
Man.
But he's making it work, though. Look at him.
He is. What a very distinctive line as Novak trying to pick up the 6th position away from Pataska.
I think his crew chief must have whispered in his ear, "Hey, man, I want you to try something for a second. See what happens here." But he didn't make up too much ground, but man, he gets right up alongside him, but he just loses so much momentum off the floor because he's not able to really get down into the throttle. Probably just a little too loose for him.
A little too loose and not as much banking down on the apron as the guys up above him there have above the white line. And I was going to make a note of that. We see Mullis on the restart, John. a couple laps after a green flag drops, he's all the way down by the apron. And look at him down in 4 there. He's all the way down by the yellow line as well. So Mullis, look at him down in turn 1, almost the same line as the 15 of Novak. So maybe Novak was getting a little information from the spotter as they continue to go at it for that 5th spot. Now it's Morgan and Pataska side by side. Pataska up top, Morgan down low, and Pataska going to make the outside work off turn 4.
Really strong move by Pataska there on the outside. And now look, Novak, a monkey see, monkey do right there. He switches his line up to the outside. Rotors are glowing then. Look at those rotor glows right there. But I'm impressed. That's what you were talking about earlier. I asked you if that outside line is going to come in eventually, and here we are, through a long, long run now. Rubber's down, the track's getting a little bit warmed up, and these guys made that outside line work.
Certainly are. Pataska gets around Morgan, clears him off turn 2. Novak trying to follow in suit to get that 6th position away from the 112 machine. Schaefer kind of opening up a little bit of gap now between he and Rindo as they race down into turn number 1.
Oh, slam! I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Slammed the door on him, did Novak to Morgan down in turn 1. Close call there, but wow.
It was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump over you like that. But my God, I thought he was going to spin himself right there. I did.
These guys putting on one heck of a show for us. So glad you've tuned in live right here on the Sim Racing Network. Tonight's broadcast, part of our triple threat streaming service, streaming live to our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And we remind you, no matter what platform you're tuned in on, to give us a follow, like the video, and turn on notifications so you can be notified whenever we go live. Closing in on 50 laps to go at Stafford Motor Speedway. You're watching the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series Salty Hooks 150. We're going to take a quick commercial break. You won't miss anything. We'll be on Corner to Corner. We'll be back from Stafford.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah. Isn't arsenic rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
.103 of 150 complete, and we're watching a great battle for 4th on back. Pataska all over the bumper of Rindo, and Morgan continuing to work on the inside of Novak every once in a while. Novak is right there on the bumper of Pataska, and here comes Pataska to the inside, 23-19, side by side for the 4th spot off turn 4, but Pataska just can't put the power down low when the 19's up high, and here comes Novak trying to take advantage of it. He looks to the inside of the 23. That would be for the 5th position on track if he can do it.
I tell you what, this is the best.
Oh, there they go. There's the bumper
right there. Oh my! This is the best race we've got on track right now, folks. These guys I mean, you'd think they were racing for the lead on the last lap, the way they've just been beating the hell out of each other the last 5 or 6 laps.
Pataska, he has been patient for about 40 laps behind the 19, maybe 30, 40 may be a little stretch, but he is ready to get by him. He knows he's faster. He just cannot find a way around the 19 machine, and now he's stuck in a battle with Novak as they race side by side down into turn 1 and 2. Novak trying to complete the pass on the 23. Yeah, great line from Novak. So fun to watch these guys as they continue to race side by side.
I'm impressed, so impressed with Novak's driving right now. It's like, oh, another contact with the outside wall. These Stafford Motorsports staff personnel cannot be happy with all the damage we're causing to their wall right now.
It's gonna be a lot of painting to be done heading into the weekend. But man, oh man, Pataska gonna get a bumper from Novak. Slides up the track, more contact. He said, "Hello, I'm here." I'm not gonna forget that one. And Pataska, probably not the happiest person on a racetrack after getting moved out of the way, but Novak, he's going to try and set into the sunset, or sail into the sunset, rather. And speaking of sunset, it is coming pretty quick here at Stafford Motor Speedway as we head into the sunset, head into the final moments of this race. 40 laps to go this time by for leader Jimmy Mullis, who has caught lap traffic, but it really hasn't slowed him down. 1.3 seconds over Colin Allman. Cut it down to 1.2 that time by, but if he's got anything left in that machine, speaking of Allman, now would be the time to turn the wick up.
Absolutely, and I'm sorry, I'm still back here watching these guys. The 15 of Novak. He's set his sights now on Rindu in that 19 car, but I can't help but wonder. You think Pataska might have something to say about that if we get another late caution?
I would put money on it that he would.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm not a betting man, but I would bet. I would bet for that.
Well, right now it looks like Rindu. Am I saying that right? Rindo, Davey. We'll just go with Davey.
Something around that, yeah.
Davey has fallen into the clutches of the 15 car. Zach Novak is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, our producer's having a lot of fun with us tonight.
He really is.
Here comes Novak. Battle for fourth to the inside of the 19 of Rindo, and side by side they go. Rindo way up the track. That is a very unique line, and he almost just pulled over for Novak there.
That's what it seemed like. I think he's smart. He looked up and he seen, one, he saw Novak coming. 2, he saw what Novak did to the last guy that helped him up. So I'm just like, if I'm Rindo, I'm like, oh, hey, go ahead, buddy. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm good with the top 5. Just please don't touch me.
Yeah, and I mean, Rindo's car for the most part is scratch free right now. I mean, and he's got no damage at all. Looks like, so he's having a pretty good run. Keeping in one piece, keeping the fenders on it. He's in the top 5 right now. So yeah, it's probably a smart move, just letting that aggressive fella go like that.
And trying to fend off now Devin Morgan in the 112 as he's all over the bumper of the 19. We'll keep an eye on that battle over the course of the final 34 laps of this one. Up front, it's all Jimmy Mullis out in front of this thing, and he has opened up a 1.5 second lead over Colin Allman. He is in some pretty heavy lap traffic right now, but really not slowing him down any at all as he is just on the move in that 40 machine.
Absolutely, and for the most part, these guys are getting out of his way and letting him go. He'll come up on somebody that's actually racing for position every once in a while, but like I said, for the most part, these guys are real polite and let him have all the room he needs, get on by and get on down the road.
Mullis continuing to click off cars. That'll put Matt Rolfe 1 lap down there as 19 cars remain on the lead lap. The next one in line going to be Brandon Wilkinson in the 56. He'll fall under the attack of Jimmy Mullis here in about a lap or so. That would put 18 cars on the lead lap. If Wilkinson were to go a lap down, he's going to be the sportsman there and pull over and let Mullis go and continue to open up his lead, which is now 1.8 over Colin Allman. It has been a dominating performance for Mullis ever since he took the lead and really hasn't looked back.
I tell you what, I'm looking at Novak's times right now. He's caught Schaefer. He's faster than Schaefer by a 10th. And he'll probably take that spot away right here, going down through 1 and 2. Schaefer gets out of his way and lets him go on by. this could be a case of Novak being one of those guys that saved his tires from like half the race and just kind of held back for a while. I mean, he started the race in 18th, Ben, and he's up to 4th. Well, scratch that 3rd now. So he's moving. He's definitely on the move. If we get another caution, I'll be looking for him to fight with the lead.
Yeah, 15 spots in 122 laps. That's an average of about a spot every 10 laps, which on a track that's very hard to pass at is a pretty good feat. So we'll keep an eye on Novak, and you said it, John. A late race caution would change the face of this race. You know, I know one person that doesn't want a late race caution. That's the 40 of Jimmy Mullis, because he's just running away. He's got this thing wrapped up and pretty much in the bag with 26 laps to go. Colin Allman, he might be for a late race caution, give him one more shot at Mullis, but Novak.
No pun intended, right?
Yeah, probably one of the faster cars on the racetrack. Last time by, he had an 18.9. Mullis, last time by, also an 18.9. So pretty much dead even between Novak and Mullis. It's just a case of, will Novak get that lucky break, get that lucky caution to maybe have a shot at the 40 of Mullis?
I think that's going to be his only chance, really, Ben, is a caution. Even though he's fast, and I mean really good and fast, he's got a great car, but I just don't think he's got enough laps at 125. We got 25 laps to go now, so yeah, I just don't think he's got time. So this is pretty much Mullis's race to lose or win right here. All he has to do is just navigate this traffic without making any mistakes, and he's got the win.
Certainly does. 24 laps to go there for the 40 machine. Mullis picked up a big victory here on the Sim Racing Network back in December, winning the iRacing iFlag 100. Picked up the victory up at SimFest, so he's a well-known super late model driver, also in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series as well. So certainly a popular driver on the service. Probably got a lot of fans watching and rooting him on, hoping that he can hang on to the victory here tonight at Stafford.
And we've talked to Jimmy a few times. Like you said, he's won before. Really down-to-earth fella. I like talking to him, but he's definitely putting on a school tonight. And I mean, my favorite was ripped out early. I should probably not pick any more favorites from here on out, because that seems to be the way it goes. But Majeski, I really thought would be in this fight in the end. But Mullis, man, he's just putting on a clinic right now, isn't he?
Certainly is. And speaking of picking favorites, John, I don't know if you remember or not, back in the old Noble Network one day when me and Andy Kessler were on the call, we used to do our picks and keep up with it, like a
I
little
remember.
point
You guys never
standings,
picked
and it was
me, but I remember
it was so fun. Well, here's the deal with the picks, it never failed. We would pick different guys every week, not necessarily who was going to win, but who we thought was going to be consistent and who was going to get us the most points, and it almost always happened. First or second caution, either one or both of our picks were involved. So all the drivers came to us.
We miss you, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. All the drivers came to us, said, "You guys got to stop doing picks."
Stop doing that. Yes.
We did. And speaking of picks, Jimmy Mullis is going to have to pick his way through this lap traffic as they're side by side in front of him and battling for position. That's the
he's
17th.
being too aggressive right here. I'm sorry, but man.
Battle for 17th on the track, and Kyle Souza says, "Go ahead, Jimmy, have it. I'll let you get by." And Tim Bill's going to be his next car in line to try and sneak by. Zach Novak started chasing down Mullis at 4.9. It's down to 4.2, now 3.9. But he's just not going to have enough time to get there if we continue green.
Not at all. We got 16 laps now this time by. But I'm telling you, that just made me nervous for a few minutes there with Mullis just really kind of pressing the issue with those two lap cars in front of him. And, I'm not an aggressive driver, Ben. You know me. That was not – I'd have just let them go. Hey, you guys want to wreck each other, go ahead and do what you got to do, because I got a couple of seconds over anybody I got to worry about. But, hey.
Absolutely.
That's why Mullis is winning this thing and I'm sitting in the booth, right?
Mullis having problems with Tim Bills, and if Bills doesn't get out of the way, I think he's going to put the bumper to him. Mullis getting a little impatient because he sees Allman growing closer and closer in the rearview mirror. He knows Novak is back there, albeit he's going to have a miracle to catch up. But, man, these guys cutting it close, and Mullis really cutting it close with these lap machines here around the 17th
Look at the
spot.
37.
And, yeah, Bills is really fighting hard for this lead lap position.
That's just crazy right there. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not an aggressive driver, Ben. You've known me a long time. I don't see the point in the 37 racing him that hard. But Mullis finally clears him. Now he's set to slide on the next car in front of him. That's the 77 car. And that's going to be Ryan Doucette. He's the last. He's on 16 down. Now, all that fighting let Allman catch back up to about a second and a tenth. But now that Mullis has cleared this lap traffic, he's probably going to set sail again.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that lead. It's down to 1.4 for Allman. So we'll see if he can reel in Mullis anymore. But like you said, once he's got clear of the traffic, I think he's going to be able to put that car back in clean air and open that lead back up. Allman at the line that time. Closed in a little bit more. So he's got 11 laps to cut in 1.4 seconds. So he's got to cut in over a tenth a lap to even get to the bumper of the 40 machine.
Well, here's the thing, Ben. Allman's got to deal with that 37 car also.
Oh, absolutely. Not only does he got to deal with the 37, he's got to deal with the 7, 37, and the 77. All these guys battling for the 16th position.
And there was a little contact there between the 37 and 77 last time by through 1 and 2. I'm sure that made Allman just a little bit. Look, they're still just duking it out right there. But you know, we're under 10 laps to go, so even if a caution came out now, that would be the end of the race. It wouldn't really help Allman at all.
I think if we had a caution in the next 3-4 laps, we may restart it. So, you know, that's just wishful thinking, though. Oh. And man, how about Tim Bills? Really aggressive trying to get around that 77 machine, shoved his way to the outside, and Allman said, excuse me, pardon me, trying to run down the leader here.
I'm telling you, this is just got to be making people nervous. Making me nervous anyway. You know, I see the leaders getting into this lap. Oh, look how loose Allman got just now coming off the 4.
Yeah. Man,
this is crazy. But here we go. 143 that time, 144 next time by. 6 laps, 7 laps to go. And, I'm kind of impressed with the fact that Allman hadn't fallen but more than a second and a half back.
It's looking about 1.9 that time. So he lost quite a bit of ground in that traffic. About a half a second to leader Jimmy Mullis, who has just got clean air, and he's going to be clean from here on out. 5 laps to go. A high five from the flag stand to the number 40 machine. 5 more circuits around Stafford.
I thought he was just waving at him. That's what that means. Okay. I thought that flagman was kind of friendly. I was using the sim racing apps scoring. Ben, I don't know if you ever used this before, but man, that thing is awesome. Gives you live scoring, literally live scoring, like every 10th of a second it updates. How many laps they've been on tires, all that good stuff.
Wow, I have to check into that.
Yeah, it's our friend Gael introduced me to that.
Cool deal. Mullis, though, circulating 3 more times around, and in 2 more laps, he'll get the white flag, and if he's got the iRacing I flag, it'll flash white, notifying him that he's on the last lap. And get your own iRacing I flag, head over iRacingIFlag.com. Mullis gets the popsicle 6, though, this time by 2 laps to go at Stafford. A dominating performance for the number 40 machine. We're on board with him now as he heads through 1 and 2 for one of the final times tonight.
And he's got clear sailing, Ben. He doesn't have to worry about lap traffic, I don't think, for his last lap right here. Takes the white flag this time by right there at the start-finish line. Last lap to go.
Final lap here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Round number 9. It'd be his first victory of the season. He heads to the back straightaway. 1 lap car right in front of him. Not going to be a factor, though. Jimmy Mullis through 3 and 4. An easy win. He picks up the Salty Hooks 150.
Nice run. He'll come in first. Colin Allman second. Zach Novak third. Devin Morgan fourth. And Joe Schaefer Jr.'s fifth. The rest of your top 10's going to scroll by there, folks. Well, Ben, that was a hell of a good race, man. Lots of excitement there for the entire race, really.
That was a great show. I mean, these guys really put on a thriller tonight on the flat Stafford Motor Speedway. We saw some bumps and we saw some runs and we saw some great side-by-side racing throughout the whole event. And wow, that was a fun one. Can't wait to talk to Jimmy Mullis and the rest of the podium finishers. Mullis going to burn them down on the front straightaway. You'll watch that celebration on Corner to Corner as we head to commercial break. Get set for the post-race show. You're watching the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series live on the Sim Racing Network.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah, isn't arsenic what they use in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to the Stafford Motor Speedway, where it's now time for post-race show, post-race interviews, and John Mushton has made his way down to pit road to chat with the driver who ran second for just about the whole race. Couldn't quite get to the bumper of that 40 machine. John Mushton caught up with the 67, or the driver of the 67, Colin Allman. John?
I have indeed caught up with Mr. Allman down here. Colin, how you doing, buddy? Fantastic race for you tonight. I have a question for you, though, bud. If we'd have gotten that late race caution, would there have been some bumper usage?
No, definitely not. Not with Jimmy. I race with Jimmy with a lot of respect, man. He's a hell of a racer, and we actually got to work together tonight, which was the first time we've ever done that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. He put a lot of time in some sets, and so did my guys at Front Stretch Mafia, and we got something rolling here. This is the first time we've had something this good in a long time.
Well, you guys looked real strong tonight, man. I mean, a hell of a good race by you. You, like Ben said, you ran second for a long time there. And I'll tell you what, as a personal note, I love the 67 number. That was my daddy's car number when he raced. So good on you putting that thing on the podium now. You got anybody want to thank for your run tonight?
Yeah, like I said, I got thanks guys at Front Stretch Mafia, and Jimmy. He hopped on with us today and help us out, and they were actually my tweaks at the end that gave him this advantage. You can make that little joke.
Well, congratulations again on your run tonight, man, and we'll see you next time out. And look forward to watching you on that podium again.
All right, thanks, guys.
There you go, Ben. That was Mr. Allman, Colin Allman, the 67 car. Came in second tonight, but guess what? I believe I see Zach Novak down there somewhere. Let me run down and find him real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to let you head down to the pit road there before we head to victory lane. Zach Novak, a great run, and boy, he was one of those drivers hoping for a late race caution. Didn't get it, but John, 15 spots in 150 laps. That's an average of 1 per 10 laps. You've caught up now with the driver to 15.
I have indeed, Zach. This is John. Man, I'll tell you what, if there was a hard charger award given for this series, I believe you would have earned it tonight, man. Like Ben touched on there, you started 18th, wind up with a third place run, and I honestly feel if we'd have had some sort of a late race caution, you might have had something for Jimmy Mullis.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of burnt up my tires coming through the field. I could feel it there at the very, very end. But man, that car was on rails. Thanks to Jimmy and Colin and all the guys at SM, I think it is. I don't even know their name, to be completely honest with you. But Stretch Mafia, that's it. Big thanks to them. Jimmy worked with them a little bit today on the car, and I always love Stafford, so I decided to show up and see how we could do. And man, like I said, that thing was on rails.
Well, congratulations on your third place run, man. Is there anybody you want to thank for the third place?
Yeah, again, just big thanks to Jimmy and all the guys at FSM for working on that thing. Tonight was a good practice race for money race on Monday that we're doing. So really nice to get some laps in and come back and race with these guys. I had a blast. It definitely gets frustrating when you have that good of a car at a track Stafford where it's extremely hard to pass. But I tried to race everybody as clean as possible. So big thanks to everybody for just racing with their head on top of their body, I guess you could say. And everybody seemed to at least, care about keeping their car clean. So that was fun. Big thanks to JDR Graphics, SimSpeedShop.com, Wyndham Rewards, Acorns, Oscar Mayer, and Performance Plus Oil.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations again on your third place run there, Zach, and we'll see you next week, bud.
Thanks, John.
And that was Zach Novak coming home third tonight in that 15 car, creating his own lane down there on the inside, Ben. We'll call it the Zach Novak passing lane.
Absolutely. Great showing by Zach Novak, and an even better showing by this guy down in victory lane, Jimmy Mullis, picking up his first victory this season in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series. How's it feel to be in victory lane here at Stafford, Jimmy?
It feels really good, especially at this place. I've struggled a lot here in the past, so yeah, tonight was pretty surreal. I haven't been in this league this whole season. I think I showed up for USA, but other than that, I've kind of stayed away from it, just trying to take a break because I've ran the past 3 seasons. So to come back tonight and have the car that we had was pretty incredible, and I can't talk about that car without thanking the guys at FSM for all they did today. Me and Keith Medeiros got together around 5 o'clock today and just started testing and throwing things at the car. And yeah, this is probably the best driving car I've had on iRacing in a very, very long time. So it's a lot of fun.
Talk about the car. Not the best qualifying run, but it sets you up perfect for the invert outside front row, and you get by Krikorian pretty early in the race and never really look back. Just a dominant machine tonight. Just talk about how well it felt on the long runs versus the short runs tonight.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the difference between lap 10 to we probably got about a 60 or 70 lap run there at the end. The difference in terms of the way it felt in that time span was pretty much nothing. Drove pretty much the same. Didn't really fall off on the long run, which was the biggest thing to me. I kept looking at my lap times, and I was just knocking off mid-9s, high 8s, 40, 50 laps into the run. So this car was bad fast. Wish we could have queued a little bit better, but got lucky with an invert and was able to capitalize with starting on the front row. So all in all, a good night.
There you have it, a bad, fast car with a bad, fast driver. Great combination here in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series. Puts you in victory lane at Stafford. Anybody you want to thank, Jimmy?
Yeah, I just want to thank Matt Rolfe for all he does with this league and all the other admins that put in a lot of time. This league's definitely, in my opinion, the best short track league I've ever ran in. So big thanks to them. Big thanks to the Front Stretch Mafia guys again. Without them, probably wouldn't have had a car like this tonight. So big shout out to them. Colin made some killer changes about an hour before the race, and she was hooked up. So yeah, thanks to them. Thanks to JDR Graphics and for all he does a great job with paint schemes. He's going through some stuff right now, so prayers to him. But like I said, thanks to him for making a bad looking fast Toyota Supra, I should say. Sim Seats, Richmond Raceway, for all they do for me as well. And Sunoco, can't forget them. And then thank you guys for the broadcast. Really appreciate it.
Most definitely. Congrats again on your run, Jimmy, and I look forward to seeing you maybe for the final 2 rounds.
Thank you, Ben.
There you have it, Jimmy Mullis, victorious here tonight at Stafford Motor Speedway, John. And you know, I hate to use the word dominant, but you know that just describes his run tonight. Put on a clinic here in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series.
He absolutely did, but I mean, it was still a very entertaining race. It's not like it was a runaway race for him or anything like that. He had to fight for it for a couple times there, and that 5 minutes through traffic definitely had us on the edge of our seats for a couple of laps there. But overall, a great race, Ben. We only had 4 cautions overall, so that's not bad on a short track like Stafford. I know it might have seemed to some viewers like we were under caution a lot, but it was only 4 out of 150 laps. That's not bad at all.
Not bad at all. A lot of green flag racing, and you know, there was never a point in the race where it just got stretched out and there wasn't any action. There was action all around the racetrack, pretty much the whole race. Great show tonight as we get set to pack up and head out of Stafford. John, any final thoughts from round number 9?
Just the same as always, man. Thanks for letting me be a part of this. Thanks to the SARA guys for letting us put this on for them. Always a pleasure watching these guys get it done on these short tracks. I've never been much of a short track driver or super late model driver myself, but I really enjoy watching these guys. I'm glad to have you back tonight, Ben. I've missed you, brother.
It was fun. I'm glad to be back. Next Thursday, we head to the Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, and in 1 week after that, we crown a champion in Hyde's Pride Championship 175 at Irwindale Speedway. We hope you tune in to those final 2 races, and we thank you for tuning in tonight. So for John Amustian, Mitch Rollo, all the guys at SARA, the Dreamer Racing Series, and Salty Hooks, find them on Facebook and YouTube, the presenting sponsor of the race tonight, the Salty Hooks 150. We thank you for tuning in. That'll do it. Remember when you're out there on the roads to put the phone down. Good night from Stafford.